Hey, everybody, welcome to the Tesla Life episode 21. That's 21 for September 20th, 2017. My name is Russell Frost. Yes, I'm trying on a brand new camera angle.
Could you aim it away from you?
Yes, you're not any prettier. That is much
There we
better.
go. Thank you.
Whoa! No.
Okay, that's nice. Yes.
I am always, in fact, here, let's do this, right? Oh!
Back at you.
Oh, my God.
The infinity mirror, that is the internet.
For some reason, Google wants to zoom my camera in, so I'm moving it around to different locations. So today, hi Tesla fans, you're right there.
Yeah.
We have a great show for you. Look at all these people on the screen that want to tell you stuff and talk to you and give you some information. Let's introduce them and get the show on the road. My man from the country where Chewbacca socks are formal wear, Mr. Mike Godwin.
Yes, indeed. Justin Trudeau out spreading his fashion sense across the United States. Yep, very, very interesting. Welcome to the show, everybody. And we've got a bunch of news, so let's get rolling.
Yay! Next to him, our man in Chicago, he drives a brand new plug-in Prius Prime, which doesn't really matter to any of you Tesla folks, but it matters to him. And
it does. Yes, it really does. It. I feel just a little bit closer to my Tesla, which
At least it plugs in. You're one small step in the right direction.
Yes, yes. I said Tesla friends. I really only have one.
One friend total. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
Man.
Next to him is a man. He owns a Model X, a Prius, no, a Leaf, a couple of things. He drives a bunch of cars, but he is our man from the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. We, however, get to call him Patrick Connor.
Hello. So if Tony has one Tesla friend and there's two Tesla owners on here, that's Evan and myself. I think that I'm out of luck. So all right, Tony, friend of me.
I'm waiting to see who steps it up. Who wants it, baby?
Ooh, yeah.
Are you saying if we plug into you, we can be your friend?
Yeah, maybe.
Wow, look at that stopwatch. That's old-fashioned looking too.
Don't say old-fashioned-y. Here, this will be the whole show. There it is, right there.
That's great.
An out-of-focus stopwatch.
It's like 60-minute Tesla life. Yeah.
And of course it's backwards because I don't have the camera controls because Google won't give me the control panel. I'm going to stop playing with this camera and introduce our last guest. He not only drives a Model S, his lovely and talented wife drives a Model X. He has two Model 3s on order, and he has the Model S kitty car. His name is Dr. Evan Fusco.
Well, I'll probably be selling that Model S kitty car, but yeah, it's I haven't got notification for that. You want it, Russell? We'll sell it to you. So hey everybody, glad to be here. And don't forget, I've still got a Prius and a Highlander hybrid in the fleet.
There we go. And that's good. I like that. I like that variety. I like that there's, that everybody has a bunch of different, we're not all driving the same car, which is good. I think
Except the show is called The Tesla Life. We have another show to talk about the other cars.
Oh, whatever. Okay, fine, Patrick. Let's start the news. Mark has our first story about the Model 3 sitting down on the sidelines.
Yeah, the kind of a surprise move that happened this week. It was announced that Tesla was officially pulling the Model 3 out of the running for the North American Car of the Year award. And the real surprising thing here is, of course, it was pretty well a shoo-in that it was going to win. So this pullout, which was reported by Inside EVs, there's no real clear reason as to why. Tesla didn't make a statement as to why they actually did this. But the consensus on the street is that this more part of the anti-selling of the Model 3 that Tesla has been engaged in for quite some time. So just wanted to hear from the other panelists as to if they've got some other ideas as to why this may be or why this would have happened.
So one point of information, early reporting said that they had withdrawn or pulled out, but it was later clarified that they never entered. So, which is, I mean, a small technical difference, but you might wonder, why did they pull out? Well, no, they didn't enter it. And I suspect that you're right with your, they're anti-selling it. Why would they do something to get it more press when they've already got 400,000 plus people waiting for it?
So you don't think it was someone lost the ballot by mistake?
Oh, I forgot about that.
They didn't want to pay the $5 entry fee.
Right.
That thing required a stamp. Come on.
Yeah.
Has anyone got a freaking stamp? There is also the possibility that Tesla is in some ways admitting that maybe the car is not ready for third-party scrutiny.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh,
We've seen a couple of short videos of like people driving the car, or we've seen pictures of the car, but I think we talked earlier that the early recipients of the cars we know are employees and legacy owners. And didn't we say that there was basically like an NDA that they were not allowed to disclose information about the car?
That's right. A friendia. The highest form of NDA, apparently.
Yeah. Well, I'm forgetting him. I'm just talking about like the employees.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to keep your job, DA?
Yeah, exactly. And so maybe, they maybe they're saying they're concerned that somebody who's not familiar with the car, somebody might try to put the car through its paces and something might glitch. I don't know. It's speculation. It's still a brand new car.
Conspiracy theory.
Tony, normally I'd say, wow, Tony, that's really harsh. How can you say that? But then I look at, well, who right now are they shipping cars to exclusively? Oh, people with NDAs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's not such an unreasonable theory.
Yeah, and it's not like the Model 3 is just a variant of the Malibu or, it's the new Camry. It's a fundamentally brand new car, almost from the ground up.
Yep,
And
whole new architecture.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's going to be issues, and maybe,
Well, and
maybe there.
The same speech we've been given since the Model 3 was first announced, that they have to do this right. It has to be right. If they're going to put out 500,000 a year and people are taking delivery, you're not looking at the same audience that bought the early Model S and the early Model X, and they're not going to be as accepting. And they've got to have this thing right, ready to go. When you get your car, it's like picking up a Toyota. It's like picking up a Prius. It's like picking up a Camry. It's going to work. It's going to have nice fit and finish. It's not going to have a bunch of little quirky problems that really that their service centers would be completely capable of handling that volume. They're just not well established enough right now. So these cars have to come out. They have to work. They have to work almost every time right out of the gate. And so it's not a bad theory, even though it's Tony's.
Evan and I are going to be competing to see who can not be Tony's friend.
I'm not going to do it. You do it.
Well, that's one way of settling it.
I like how Evan said it. He didn't even crack a smile. He just let it go right on by.
The deadpan hate in this group is really. Well, let's move on from that painful event to another, maybe slightly less painful event. I think Patrick has a story for us.
Sure. I have one about the Tesla truck. So the semi-truck event was initially rumored to be at the end of September. Now it is tentatively scheduled for October 26th. And someone tweeted at Elon, "Can we get a light-duty pickup next?" To which Elon Musk responded, "What if we just made a mini version of the Tesla Semi?" So one of the things that I've been saying, and I wrote about it on my blog, carswithgores.net blog, was that the truck is going to be a whole new audience for Tesla, a whole new type of buyer. It's not people that are enamored with the tech necessarily. And one way that they can woo that audience is to do a really cool semi-truck. And once you show that power and torque, now you've got something that interests guys who would buy pickups, and women that buy pickups too, possibly. And so if these two products are tied together in some way, that could be a really interesting way to appealing to that audience. And Tesla, their whole goal is to put more electric vehicles on the road. And today, the top 3 selling passenger vehicles in the U.S. are all pickup trucks. So eventually, they have to get a significant presence in that market. And so it's really cool to see that this is how they're rolling it out. And I hope that we've done some live events before. So October 26th, maybe we can do another one for the Tesla semi-truck event.
It could
What do you think, Russell?
I think we'll be there. I think
why bother?
I think you can count on that. So can I be mean to Elon for a second?
Sure.
Oh, I know. But I don't have any Model 3 orders waiting to be filled, so I got nothing to lose.
You've already got Google mad at you. And
So honestly, what the hell is a mini version of a semi? A semi has nothing to do with a pickup truck. I mean, other than like its cab, wheels, and maybe there's a bed instead of a place to connect a trailer. It seems almost nonsensical to me.
Well, I think maybe he was being nonsensical, and of course, once that gets on the inner tubes, everybody's got to run away with it and think it means something deep
Wait.
philosophical.
You don't get to play that because he's the CEO of a company that makes vehicles.
everybody thought he was goofing around when he said, "What if
That's
we
true.
drill tunnels?" And
Yeah.
now what are they doing, right?
Yeah.
Call it the
that's
boring
true.
company. Yes. Yeah.
If they use a lot of the same battery packs or motors or some of the design elements, and it's a lot of the same shared parts, just amped up to turn the volume to 11 to take it from a pickup to a semi. Maybe not in function, but in parts and how they're designed and how they're used.
Yeah, I hate to see that the pickup is like the outline of the semi that we saw in the teaser picture. Just that it's smaller and it has a bed on the back. That would be
Right.
very disappointing if that was their version of a pickup truck.
And now that said, I get the idea if what he is trying to signal with this is that it's going to be a full-size brute force pickup truck that's electric, because I think that's the right response. I think if he comes out with anything that's weak in any way, it
Yeah, if it's one of those, if it's like a tiny Toyota half-ton, little dinky thing, I assure you, those aren't the trucks that are selling, the top 3 passenger vehicles.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, to really, if you want to make a name, you need to make a big, forgive me for this, manly truck.
Mm-hmm.
And
No,
it
yeah.
have
So you're saying they should release like a dually 3/4 ton truck?
yes, absolutely. In electric, yes, absolutely.
With big old
Stop.
stacks coming straight up the top of either side.
Blowing out bubbles.
Right.
Put out sparks.
There you
Electric.
go.
Oh, you could have like a plasma ball.
Arc.
Yeah.
And true Tesla, it'd go.
Yeah, instead of rolling, rolling
like that
plasma.
It has lightning you can direct at other vehicles.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Top of the truck market with the big dualies. They started at the top of the luxury car market and worked their way down. So
Yeah.
let's do the same with trucks.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. There's the economic, but I mean, they need to make. I think their first truck should be a serious work truck.
Go big.
That
I agree.
use. And we'll see companies buy them up like crazy.
So looking at these mock-ups, don't you think they're going to need to add a bumper if it's a serious truck?
Right?
I-
These don't look at the mock-ups. So
Yeah.
there have been all kinds of renderings put out there, and people love or hate them or whatever, and most of them are crap, and none of them are from Tesla official. So
Right.
you're only looking at somebody's speculation at that point. Listen to our speculation, which is much
But ours is the only speculation that
But we're
matters.
not drawing pictures and putting them forth as like, this is what's going to look like. It's like,
Yeah.
no one knows.
And clearly these renderings were made some time ago because they still have the big black faux grille instead of,
yeah.
they've moved to the pointed Model 3 front.
Good point, Tony. Nice. Nicely
But
said.
that's two. I'm out.
That's it. Thank you. Good night. Well, let's. Mark has managed to identify a new vehicle in Denver, and let's.
Yeah, I was hoping that Paul would join us, but we've got a new vehicle that Tesla has outfitted for the Denver PD. So we've got ourselves a Model S patrol car, all decked out with the light bar and stickers. I can't quite read if that is a dual wheel or if it's a D or 100 or an 85. I'm not sure what it is, but how on earth can a police department afford a Tesla is the first question. Probably because it's been donated in some way. We've seen this in the past with Los Angeles and a couple other cities that they've gotten a donation to try out, to test. But man, that is an expensive patrol car.
It's all the tax money they're getting from the weed.
You know, it just might be.
They got so much money, they're just burning it now. Yes.
And so they just blow it on a Tesla, and then they end up saving money and fuel costs, and they're like, damn it. It's like Brewster's Millions. We just can't get rid of this stuff.
And I didn't see a spin around of the front, but I don't quite see a push bar on the car. So it's missing a key component as well.
This is what the police is going to drive around in at 130 miles an hour.
Yeah, chasing down criminals.
Yeah, that's or maybe just getting a lunch before everybody else.
So
So
did
this
anyone
is not
else?
intended as a pursuit vehicle. I'm sorry, go ahead, Tony. My dear friend Tony would like to say something.
Well, no, I was going to point this out. I need to somehow, if I can zoom in, which I'm not sure if I can, and screen share this picture, but it looks to me as though on the side of the car, can you guys see this?
To serve and protect.
Well, right, but by the Tesla logo, behind the wheel, it actually says EV1.
Look at that.
Yep.
The Denver PD will be getting that cease and desist from G.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Oh wait, they crushed all those cars. They don't give a shit about that trademark.
Oh,
True story.
Is that a slap at Elon calling their police car EV1?
No, I think it's just they have to number the vehicles for.
Oh.
Yeah, I honestly think that they probably don't know what an EV1 is, and they just called it, well, this is our first electric vehicle, so it's EV1.
Listen, it should be called Adam 12. Can we just be done with that?
Yeah, makes sense.
Oh, am I that old?
Yeah, you really
Oh,
are.
that hurts.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow, that was like. Mark,
Show
Mark.
the wind-up stopwatch to start with.
Yeah, I know.
You bring up the Adam 12. You make the call, Frost.
And of course, there was the sign in front on the big picture on the top of the article, and you can read the sign on the ground that says "Pass gas" in the front.
On the what? On the car?
On their car?
You're
No,
making.
it's in the picture that's on the. It's the top picture of the article.
Yeah.
Uh.
Oh yeah, it does. Nice. The little
There's
sign.
a
For it.
yeah, a little
Got it.
pop-up picture sign poster.
and as we were going through that story, we just got an update from one of our viewers that has shown us an artist rendering of the pickup truck as well. So I'll just show that right now.
Oh, no.
That is it. Yes.
Yeah.
Kick ass.
Yeah.
Nice.
The design, the smooth lines, the minimalist. Just like, yep.
That's very minimalist, wasn't it? Yes.
Yeah, and I especially love the screenshot of Microsoft Paint.
Take my money, Elon Musk. Take my money.
So on the police department, I'm a Tesla fan, driver, stock owner, so I'm happy about that. But if there are cities that want to be buying electric vehicles, I think they should start with their buses, something that people are on every day that are out there. And that would give a lot of people exposure to electric vehicles, a lot less pollution. I'm sure this car is going to be great. They're going to be using it for their community outreach and stuff. And I'm sure that when they go to a school, that all the kids are going to love it. But I think buses would be a better use of city money for electric vehicles.
Parking enforcement. There's all sorts of, like really great uses for electric vehicles.
Yeah, well, not to totally side rail, but since you brought it up, there was the bus, and I'm trying to find the article real quick. Where was it? It's like 1,100 miles.
That's coming up in our next show.
Yeah.
Well, la-ti-da.
Watch what drives us to find out.
Yeah.
Tony, you might not know this, but we do another show after this one.
No.
No, we do not. What are you talking about, Evan? This is the only show we do. Oh, wait. Yeah, we do another show. What am I saying? You know what? Enough of this. Mark, help me. Again, help me.
There's no help for you, Russell, unfortunately. but I do have the next story, which is about the Model 3 and its lack of a key or fob, which most of us are aware that the car is coming with a phone app with a proximity to the car to unlock the doors and let you start the car, as well as it has a basically a key card, which has been available with some other vehicles that will give you the ability to hand your key card to, say, a valet or a friend who's going to take the car for a while, instead of them having to have the particular app and identification load into that app so that they can drive the car. So it's interesting that now people will have to, well, everybody has a phone typically at this point.
Yeah, anybody buying a Model 3 is
I would say, yeah.
Maybe they have 3 phones, but
Yeah, exactly.
they'll have to juggle which phone they have it on and fire up the phone application, or the proximity to the Bluetooth on the phone will recognize the car and allow it to unlock. And then the feature for it to start will allow it to do so as well, because of the proximity to the phone application or that credit card type key card. So I'm just curious from Evan and Patrick as to what they think of that compared to what they currently have in their Teslas, which is a fob of sorts. So I'm just kind of curious as to what their thought is on this new process, and if it makes sense, or if it's something that they would even like to have with their current vehicle.
Yeah, anything.
Go ahead, Evan.
I would say anything that makes it even one less thing to think about. Now, I typically carry my keychain with me anyway for other things, so it's sort of invisible either way. I'm going to grab my keys and go. So just like I do my phone. I guess there's times that maybe I wouldn't want to bring my keychain. It'd be nice to not have to worry about it, but those are fairly few and far between. I mean, I sure don't have any major problem with it. Now, I do live in a fairly rural area that sometimes there isn't great cell reception, more so for the car than for my cell phone. And obviously both of those will have to be connected so that they can communicate and know where that proximity is. So people that live in that area may become more dependent on that little valet card and have to dig that out of their wallet, which is an even bigger pain in the butt than carrying a key. But I don't know. I think that'll be pretty minimal in the big picture.
So from what I've read, that you're right about the phone app today, that you have to have internet connectivity, and so is the car, for the phone to talk to the car. But the new app that's going to be used with the Model 3 is just going to use either near field communication or Bluetooth. So it's a local protocol. Neither one of them need internet connectivity. So that if you are in the middle of nowhere, you're not locked out of your car.
As long as your phone is charged.
As long as your phone is charged, right? And yeah, and if not, hopefully you have your key card with you. Now, if they had an external USB port to charge
I was going to say there's a new 110 outlet on the outside of the car. Yes.
Right. Charge your phone in 0.5 seconds.
Now, I have a question about this in all seriousness, and it would be workflow. So does the phone need to be unlocked for this to work?
Right. I don't know the answer to that. And I have stuff for my work on my phone, and so they require me to have security login stuff, which just makes it a pain to use my phone.
Right. And yeah, with a short range. Yeah, right. Sorry, I was going to say with the short range radio frequency that fobs and cars use now, with keyless entry and keyless start, we can just walk up to the car talk to the fob. It's all encrypted. It's all secure, and I don't have to do anything. I leave it in my pocket. I don't have to get anything out, and I certainly don't have to unlock it.
Yeah. So I certainly hope that the same applies here, that it can just detect my phone without me unlocking and opening the app and pressing a button to unlock the door or something ridiculous like that.
But I do know that from now on, if I ever find a phone on the ground, I'm going to run around to all the Teslas I see.
Back to do the current near field things, those require you always to unlock to use?
Well, yeah, so certainly things like Android Pay absolutely do. But I don't know about Bluetooth Low Energy. I think I might be able to attach a pair and connect my headphones without unlocking it. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I would say they would have to make it that way. Like if you have to open an app, that would be a big fail, I would say.
Yeah, and in my case, just unlocking my phone is a pain.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly, Patrick. Even if it comes down to unlocking your phone, which is annoying on a perfectly sunny day, and absolutely a struggle when it's raining, snowing, whatever.
How long before we get to like enormous, elaborate Voltron power rings that you just have to hold?
Hey, the car's got a bunch of external cameras. Why can't it just do facial recognition? There you go.
We're going to see how that works with the new iPhone, aren't we?
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah. Well, and so I think that's been brought up too, that would theoretically would be an option.
But again, you have to take it out of your pocket.
Yeah.
And you're carrying stuff. You just came from the store. You're whatever.
No, I meant the cameras on the car.
Yeah, you literally mount your iPhone 8 on the car, and you drive around like that. Plugged into the external USB port.
It is interesting that when we first reported on this key fob thing before the unveil, we had got a video on the show of an executive getting in at the Tesla plant, and he was using the credit card to get in. He waved it.
The app wasn't ready yet. Then
he waved it at the B pillar that allowed it to open, and then he dropped it in the console, which allowed him to start the car.
This is the car.
Right.
The key card. Yeah, the credit card shaped. I don't know that you can't. I guess it's a card. You can't really call it a fob. It's not like it has a bunch of buttons. It does exactly two things: opens the door and lets you start the car.
Yeah, so that is one thing that I'll miss. It's kind of cool to play with the fob and open doors and close doors remotely, but I can live without that. Especially when you have the Falcon Wing doors and you want to mess with people as they're walking by in the parking lot and you can open it. That's fun.
Nice little
something like that.
An average day in Patrick Connor's life.
I like to just sit around and watch parking lots. Yes, this is a fun time for me.
It's funny you mentioned that. We were at the National Drive Electric Week event in Brampton, and there was a Tesla Model X owner with us, and he was standing across from the car, and a little boy was just looking at the car, and he told the boy, "Well, make your arms wave like an arc, and it'll open the door." So the little boy waves his arms, and then all of a sudden the gull wings open up and mimic his his ability to open a door. So the kid, of course, was just blown away. And then half an hour later, he was playing the trick with adults too. So
I like that guy. I want to meet that guy. Was it Justin Trudeau?
Tony's version is going to be, if you take off your top, the door's open.
Oh.
We know how you are, Tony.
So I'm willing to give this a try. I can't wait to try it myself and see how it works out. At first, I was like, why would they get rid of the fob? The fob is so cool. It looks like a little car. And in fact, I've had multiple people when I'm getting out of my car and there's the really cool Tesla. They run up and that's what they want to see. What's the key fob? And my wife's like, why is it always men that do that? They're just little boys. You want to see the little Matchbox car and play with it. I'm like, yeah, because it's awesome.
It's a chromosomal thing. She won't understand.
Yeah, she doesn't get a lot of the Tesla obsession. But a couple times now, where we happen to hang our keys in the house is just close enough to our garage that it'll let you leave the car unlocked that I have now and even start it. And then I get about half a block down the street, and then a little alert pops up on the binnacle that says key not detected, key no longer in vehicle, or something like that. And I'm like, oh crap! And then I got to stop. And,
man, at least it tells you.
Right. It does, yeah. It's better than I'm 10 miles or 20 miles from my house, and then it won't let me restart it. Although you can restart it with the app, which again, like Evan said, assuming that you have connectivity for both your phone and the car, and your phone's not dead. So it's a good backup, and I've used it once. So it's yeah.
I guess my only thing is if you have it on your phone for the Model 3 and you have the key card with you as a backup, aren't you using two things anyways?
I would just throw the key card in my wallet and forget about it.
Yeah.
Because I go nowhere without that.
Yeah. I mean, the two things I have with me are my phone and my wallet.
Yeah.
No, and actually, it's 3 today because I also have my fob. But now it'll be down to 2, which is even better. So I'm all for it.
Okay.
I do wonder what the utility is. I guess, I mean, if the phone app gave you more connectivity to the vehicle, being able to, like, whatever it is, start it or turn the air conditioning on or check on various things without having to be physically close to the vehicle, that's cool. But
and I'm sure they'll have all that because the current app has that stuff. And
I wonder if you could take a picture of the card and make it your lock screen. And
yes,
I don't think it's looking at anything when you do that.
Oh, I thought it was.
When
you hold it up to that camera?
I think that's just where the Bluetooth or NFC reader is.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's using a
Oh, I thought the camera.
low power Bluetooth.
That's disappointing.
It could even be RFID in the. I don't know what it is. We'll find
if that did work though, I would ask to borrow your card.
just for a minute. I'll be right back.
I'll be right back.
Well, Tony, I think you have the next story.
I do, and I found this rather interesting because when the Model 3 was first displayed, one of the things that we asked about was one of the things we noticed was just how sleek the dashboard was. And in particular, I'm sharing a picture here. You can see that it's just this thin line, and turns out this is the vent right here. And so it was in a patent that how this works was actually revealed. And it's a rather thorough and detailed patent that goes into a lot of detail about how they did it. And I'm going to go ahead and share here a picture of this side shot. What they are doing is not only pushing air through the slot here, which they mark as 606, but there's also another slot that pushes air out, and they use the two streams of air to actually control how the air is angled. And it's all controlled within with the big screen in the middle. You can You can individually do them, passenger or driver. You can do them combined. But it's a very clever way to do this and maintain the clean line and the very minimalist display of the dashboard.
Yeah, using air to move air.
Cool.
So instead of vents in normal cars where you've got the butterfly vents that you move around, you're saying that it uses the two streams of air against each other, either flowing fast or slower in order to direct it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, up or down, and then they've got some relatively hidden vent fins inside that can move it side to side. One of the things in the patent, the background written, was really it was less technological and more aesthetic. They wanted to get away from the look of the blocky round or square vents with the fins, and then you manually control them. And, I mean, face it, you sit in a car and you've got this little vent and it's a very focused stream of air. And so if you want to have air blown on you, totally, and you need two vents, which currently the vents, the HVAC is a bunch of tubes. If you haven't seen this, inside the dashboard, there's a series of flexible tubes that route the air to the vents. And they essentially eliminate a lot of that by simply going without the vents in this very clean air dispersion system. It's just one more example of the thought and ingenuity that Tesla has put into the Model 3.
Anything to reduce the part count is helpful, and
Right.
like I said, it gives clean aesthetic lines that makes it beautiful. So,
All right. And how long have we had the cheap plastic move the knob vents? And it probably is one of those things that was due for somebody to innovate and move on from.
Yeah, I think Henry Ford invented the
Exactly.
Assuming it works, right? I mean, that's the only thing.
right.
But yeah, it's awesome. Fewer parts, cheaper. That certainly was part of the directive here. And it doesn't, we don't need that little flappy vent thing with the little, now the problem is, where are the cheap folks going to mount their cell phone bracket?
Yeah, there's nothing to clip it onto.
There's that's true. That's going to be you're gonna have to get one of those suction cups and put it.
Stuff on there. That market's now dead.
And is it me? And this is, forgive me for going off script here, but is it me, or is there not a single car company that makes a single model vehicle that actually holds a cell phone upright safely in a visible spot?
That is correct.
Good point. And and it's not like the phone was invented yesterday. It's been a decade.
Right.
There's probably a multi-million dollar industry making aftermarket cell phone holders, and yet the car companies still, these bastards are still trying to figure out cup holders.
Right.
Yeah.
They're making better holes.
So,
Yeah, there's plenty of cars that have center console holders, but that's not a place you can use for navigation or music or whatever, phone calls.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there's too much liability that, if we put a phone prominently, that you're going to be texting while you're driving, then you're going to sue us.
Yeah, I'm sure that's it.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe
excuse I've heard before.
well, maybe the CarPlay or Android or whatever, maybe that's the solution. Literally just having a screen. You don't need your phone when you've got it projected and on the screen. I don't know.
I don't know, but it just seems like such a no-brainer to me. Like a cup holder. You know what I mean? Like, because these are devices we use all the time. And even if it's just sitting there, the idea that you're mounting it on a stupid vent, or you're mounting it possibly in a location where the airbag is going to launch it into your face at 190 miles an hour.
Right.
And it's funny, but like how? You know what I mean? Like a safe place to put your phone where it's visible isn't really that crazy of an idea in 2017.
Right. So yeah, exactly. I mean, imagine if there was a universal mount that held any phone, whether it was in a case or not, and there was a USB outlet just beneath it, so you could have a little short 6-inch cord that plugged your phone in, and it just worked every time.
That'd be great.
How hard is that?
Yeah,
Well-
a powerful magnet where you could put any metal sticky it on back of whatever phone you want and just clunk it onto that magnet. That'd be great.
Or
That's-
floppy disk, whichever.
Not in front of the air conditioning vent or in front of an airbag.
Yeah.
Right.
However,
spot for it.
counterpoint, we have states passing distraction-free driving laws. Patrick, Oregon recently passed not even a phone in the front seat.
Right. Yep. It starts October 1st. So yeah, just 10, 11 days, and then we'll
How
have
does
to move
that
on.
work?
Yeah. It's going to make criminals out of everyone.
Yeah. So I think the real point there is that if they see you using the phone, and then when they come up to you and you just have it in the front seat, and you say, "I wasn't using it," they can still ticket you. I'm not really sure how it's gonna. We already have distracted driving laws, which didn't explicitly say you have to have hands-free phones, but there's so many idiots out there with their phones, and now when the light turns green, you have to honk at a car in front of you because
Oh, I know,
it's
man.
not paying attention. So, yeah,
You should lose your privilege to be at the front of the line at a light if you're going to use your damn phone.
Okay,
Right.
so I am going to go ahead and predict the future, a patent that I am not going to take and someone else is going to do it. But at some point in the near future, there will be stoplights that send push notifications in a 15-mile radius. Just wait.
yeah,
Can I improve on your innovation?
Yeah.
It doesn't just send a push notification. It sends an animated GIF of a dragster starting light. You know, red,
Christmas tree.
yellow, green.
Yeah. Driver assist that the forward-looking camera doesn't have to actually drive the car for you, but when the light turns green, it chimes just to let you know.
That's actually a good idea. I mean, I think I'd turn that damn thing off right away, but it's an interesting idea because there are some folks that could use that. Well, speaking of things we can use, this is something that we've all talked about for a long time on What Drives Us. And I don't know that we've talked about it here. I think we have actually. But back a while back, Tesla had said that they were going to make some supercharging stations. And as it turns out, the chief technology officer is it J.B.
Strobel. Yep.
Trouble.
Strobel. J.B. Strobel attended, wait for it, a food service technology conference trade show. Now, if that isn't a tell, I don't know what is. You're at the Food Service Technology Conference trade show, and you're the CTO of Tesla.
He was gathering cup holder measurements.
He was getting advanced readings on how big the cups are going to be next year. Yes.
That new Tesla truck is going to have room for a big gulp. You mark it.
Come on.
I'm telling you, it's gonna.
They're
And-
trying to introduce a new Giga Big Gulp.
Yeah,
Giga Gulp.
Coffee.
Nice.
But interestingly enough, of course, Mr. Strobel is there for an important reason. And while we don't know exactly what it was, it's a pretty much a given that Tesla is looking at making some of these supercharging stations convenience stores, which, duh.
Yeah.
Restaurants and service stations and convenience stores and all kinds of things because people are going to spend time there. Take their extra money while you're there. Are you that stupid? No, you're not. Good.
Right.
And I don't want to just, I've been to a few, even though I don't own a Tesla, I've been to a few superchargers. Those of you Tesla owners can testify. So do you sit in your car and read? Do you sit outside and look at the birds? What do you do usually when you're charging?
There's usually something around there.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean by something?
Well, it depends on which one you go to, but a lot of them are at malls, and so there's all kinds of little shops there, or they, especially here in Oregon, there's the one at Woodburn Outlet Mall, the one at Lincoln City is at an outlet mall. There's restaurants. And stuff.
Isn't it part of the Tesla app that when you're at the supercharger, you can see who else is at the supercharger, and you can swipe right, swipe left.
It's the Tesla Hookup Club.
The Tesla Hookup app. Yeah.
There's an NDA.
There's a few apps that we invented right now on this show. Tinder app.
But this is yes, it is such a brainless, obvious evolution, and Tesla doesn't have to fight for real estate, because if it's charging like on an interstate or somewhere, they could buy cheap land anywhere and develop it, and in any convenience store could rent out space. And now Tesla's in the real estate business, like McDonald's, and they could put these wherever the need is, because the drivers are going to come to it.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense for them to, like you said, to rent or lease out the space versus having Tesla branded hamburgers and hot dogs.
Oh
I don't think they need to go quite that far.
That would be so
Evan sounds like he wants one.
You don't want to open a bun and see the branded T right on your patty?
I know what the hot dogs are going to look like.
Oh, nice.
I'm just saying, I can see that in a bun right now.
Are you sure that you didn't get that from the Tesla Tinder app?
Bun on a bun.
That was not my artwork, my friends. I mean, obviously, I think Patrick. I mean, yeah, they lease out somebody to come in and do food, to sell stuff, whatever. It makes sense, and it's called taking care of your customers.
It is, right? Yeah. So a perfect example is at the Portland airport. They just revamped the cell phone waiting area, which used to be 20 feet of gravel. Now they've put in a new one. They have a gas station, they have a convenience store, they have a restaurant, and it has DC fast charging, both CHAdeMO and CCS.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
So yeah, so now when I go to the airport, I don't have to go. This was when I had the Leaf. It's a long drive for me from where I'm on the west side. The airport's on the north side. It was a long drive, and so I would have to charge up. So the nearest charger was a level 2 at the IKEA, that's a couple miles from the airport. So I would, if I was going to pick somebody up at the airport, I would go an hour or two early so I could stop at the IKEA and plug in there and walk around IKEA for an hour while I'm charging, and then go over and wait for them in the cell phone waiting area. Now instead, I'll just be able to go over there, quick charge, 15 minutes. Actually, in the Tesla, I don't need to, but if I wanted to take the Leaf, I can use the CHAdeMO there and get a charge and drive home without doing that hour wait at IKEA.
Now I kind of want a Swedish meatball and a Snuffendorgan.
So this is actual plans for the supercharging station in Kettleman City. This is the first one. If you're not familiar with Kettleman City, it's about the halfway point between San Francisco and Los Angeles on the 5 freeway, which a couple of cars go up and down every day.
Yeah, just a few.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when Tesla comes to me for my opinion on this, one thing I would add that I actually enjoy at the Rolla Supercharger here in Missouri, and at the Independence Missouri Supercharger, which is located at a Bass Pro, is the one in Rolla. There's a pond very nearby, just behind a hotel, that's got a walking trail around it. And when I'm charging, I actually really enjoy going down, just getting a little exercise rather than sitting in the car doing nothing, waiting. There's a barbecue place that if you're hungry and it's noon or supper time, you can go in there and eat or get a drink, even if it's not noon or supper time. But most of the time we seem to be there in early hours of the morning, topping up on the way home or on the way to St. Louis. And it's really nice to go out and get a little exercise, do a little walk. And so some sort of walking trail or something like that would be actually really nice to think of these, and probably appreciated by a lot of Tesla owners.
So that's Tesla real estate, people.
Give Evan a call. He's got some land for sale.
Yeah.
And you said there's some plugs at the Bass Pro Shop, so they're set when the trucks come out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was that too stereotypical, or was that pretty acute?
I think it was actually on target.
Yeah. Okay.
And with that, let's complete our day. I think we've had a successful show. Let's not wreck it, guys. Okay.
Do you think we can manage that?
That was next on my agenda. But all right, you can save that for the next show.
My next story was Patrick Reck's show.
Exactly. So let's do some shout outs. I'm going to start from the far end of my list. Evan, that's you.
Oh God,
Cardinals,
me?
go
I
Cards.
never have a shout out. I don't know. I got nothing.
How about
Thanks
the
for having
forum? How about the forum?
Nah, that's all right.
Oh, fair enough.
Okay. If you're a Tesla fan and you're looking and you haven't found it yet somehow, there's a Tesla Motors Club is the biggest, largest Tesla forum, and lots and lots of good information out there.
There you go. Thank you, Evan. Well done. Patrick, I know you have something to plug.
I've always got a plug, yeah. So I want to thank Tesla for showing up at our National Drive Electric Week event that we had. And it was really cool. They brought a mobile Ranger out there, and they were doing little repairs on our cars for us. And that was kind of neat to, instead of scheduling a visit to the shop, if you've got some little thing, it was cool to have a guy there that had all the parts and could do diagnostics and get software updates and talk to someone that works on the cars and get to know how they operate. It was pretty cool. So yeah, thanks.
There you go.
Yeah.
Tony.
So I want to give a shout out to everyone who's in the chat room right now. Of course, Lee, Ken, JT. That's everyone. So I also want to give a shout out to Elon Musk. Elon, I'm still waiting for my free Tesla. Yeah. Other than that,
how did you send that correspondence to Elon? Was that just a tweet, or what did you do?
no, just now.
Okay.
Right.
Exactly. Mr. Coughlin, bring us home, please.
Just hello to everybody out there that visited us at the National Drive Electric Week show we had in Kitchener, Brampton, and in Toronto. And a lot of Tesla owners were out, and we appreciate that. And we look forward to next year. So it was a great time, and we look forward to another successful year with electric vehicles.
Yay! Go.
Yeah, I should have probably given a shout out to Madison, Wisconsin. It was a really good, successful National Drive Electric show. It was really good of the city of Madison to block out an entire city block of street right next to the state capitol on a Saturday, which is when they have their farmers market. So there was a lot of foot traffic.
That is cool.
Yeah, it was really good. It was a really good event.
There you go. Well, let's see. As always, I've got some sort of housekeeping stuff. Remember, we're at youtube.com/whatdrivesus. We're at Facebook.
For the Tesla Life.
The Tesla Life. I'm sorry. just edit that out. Oh,
It's the camera angle.
Yep.
it's the camera angle. Search on YouTube for the Tesla Life Show. We're there, and look for that shiny red logo. Subscribe. You'll automatically be notified as soon as we start broadcasting. Mark, on Facebook, it's the Tesla Life
Numeral 1.
Numeral
That's
1. Not Tesla Life.
That's right.
On Facebook.com.
And finally, on Twitter, you can find us at the Tesla Life. And please join there. We're approaching 2,000 connections, so please follow us there. And
Hey,
Yeah.
tell a friend. It's not too late. We're here every
Exactly.
Wednesday at about 4 o'clock Pacific time. Oh,
Pacific.
did I do that?
Wow, you've completely switched over now.
One of us. One of them.
It's called the
Pod.
Tesla time zone on this show.
Hey, it's about time. Thanks to all of you guys for showing up tonight and doing the show. I appreciate it so much, and as does, I'm sure everybody else. And thanks to all of you who watch and listen. Check us out next week and find out what's new and exciting in the Tesla Life.